Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we're going to try something new. Today we're going to use a number line to represent fractions. Let's start with the first example that I have here. I have this whole rectangle that is split into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3 of those parts are shaded. So we would say 3/4 of this rectangle is colored. Now let's locate 3/4 on a number line. If we look at this whole rectangle and realize that's our whole, that's the part of the number line we're going to focus on. This whole is divided into 4 parts. So let's split our whole on the number line into 4 parts. It's easier to start with a half and then split your half. Let's count our parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And we would say the first part is 1 out of the 4 parts. The second part is 2 out of the 4 parts, or 2/4. 3/4. And then we have 1, which is also the same thing as 4/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. And if I'm at 0, I'm also at 0/4. So if we were going to identify 3/4 on that number line, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 3/4. Let's try another example. Okay, let's take a look at this whole. This whole is split into 4 parts. So again, on my number line, and 0, I'm just going to stop at 1 because we just have the one whole here today. We know this number line can go on. There are 4 parts, so that means my whole has to be split into 4 parts again. 1, there we go. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. 0/4. 1/4. There's 1 out of the 4 parts. There's 2/4, 3/4, and of course 4/4 is the same as 1 whole. How many parts are colored in here? Just 1. So let's find 1/4 on this number line. That's 1/4, really small. 1/4 is a lot smaller than 1 whole. Okay, let's try a couple more examples. All right, let's look at this fraction. This whole, and let's see what part is shaded, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 parts to this whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are shaded. So we would say 5 out of the 8 parts is shaded. 5/8. So thinking of this circle, pizza or pie or cake, thinking of that as your whole, let's see where 5/8 on the number line would look. So our whole is made up of 8 parts. So let's split this whole into 8 parts. It's easier to start with halves, then split your halves, and now split those. You can really see how small 8s are. And let's double check and count the parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 spaces. That means this is divided into eighths. This whole is divided into eighths. Let's label this number line. Well, here's 0 eighths. This is going to be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. And then our 1, our whole, is also the same as 8/8. Look how tiny those are. Now let's find where 5/8 would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. There's 5/8. Okay? Let's try another example. Okay, looking at this model, here's our whole. Our whole is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 parts to our whole, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those parts are shaded. So we would say 5/6 of this rectangle is shaded. Now let's find 5/6 on a number line. Here's our whole. We're just dealing with one whole today. Okay, so our whole, we just said, is divided into 6 parts. So let's divide this whole into 6 parts. It's kind of tricky. I like to divide it in thirds first, and then split those. 1 part, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice how I'm counting the spaces. Now we can label it. There's 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, and 1 whole is the same thing as 6, 6. Now we can label 5, 6 on this number line. Look at that, 5, 6 is just short of 1 whole. I want you to practice some now too. So why don't you pause the recording, go get some paper, get a notebook or something, and I've got some problems for you to try. I will wait for you to return. Make sure you pause. Okay, I have 3 problems for you to try. Here's what I want you to first figure out. First, identify the fraction. Here's my tip number 1. What's the fraction? Okay? Then I want you to set up your number line. Okay? 0 to 1 today. Decide how many parts in your whole and split up your number line. We'll try one more before you go off. Step 1. Let's decide what fraction this is. Here's our whole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 are shaded. So that means this rectangle is shaded. 4/8 of this rectangle is shaded. Step 1. Done. All right, let's set up our number line. 0 to 1. Done. Step 3. Decide how many parts in your whole and then split it up. So our whole had 8 parts. That's how we're going to split up our number line. 8 parts. double check and make sure I did 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Count the spaces, not the lines. And now let's go ahead and label. 0 eighths, 1 8, 2 8, 3 eighths, 4 eighths, 5 eighths, 6 eighths, 7 eighths, or 1 or 8 eighths. Now let's find 4 eighths. There's 4 eighths on the number line. Look at that, halfway through. One more thing I want to add on your tips here. Label. Number line. So decide what fraction it is, set up your number line, decide how many parts are in your whole before you split up that number line, and then label it. Okay? So give yourself more space than I did. If you tend to write big, give yourself some good space. Okay, here are 3 examples. Let's just do 2 so you can see my tips. Try those 2 examples. Hit the pause button when you're ready to check your work. Hit play and we'll go over it. Good luck. Okay, you're back. I'm assuming you're ready. Let's try these 2. Okay, so following our steps, we first have to decide what fraction this is. 2 parts are shaded out of 4 parts altogether. So this fraction is 2/4 shaded. 2/4 of this rectangle is shaded. Next step, set up our number line. Third step, decide how many parts in your whole, and then we'll split it up. There are 4 parts in my whole. Let's split it up. And the last thing, we are going to label that number line. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 parts. 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 1 or 4/4. It means the same thing. Now let's identify 2/4. 2/4. And the last one you tried? Following our steps again, the first step was to decide what was the fraction. 1, 2, 3 out of 4, 5, 6 parts. So this rectangle is 3/6 shaded. Okay, step 2, set up our number line. Step 3, decide how many parts. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So let's split up. Divide this whole into 6 parts. Try doing thirds first. If you have to erase your lines, that's okay, to make them look relatively equal. Count to make sure you've got 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's label. 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, oops, 3, 6, 4, 6, 5, 6, or 1, which is 6, 6. Hopefully you gave yourself a little more room than I did on those number lines. So 3, 6, let's mark it. And look at that. Looks like I have a half, each one of them is right at the halfway point. So when you go off to work today, the sheet that's in your outline looks like this. It's called Fractions on a Number Line. It tells you what to label: 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, and 4/5. The number line, double check and make sure it's been split up for the right number of spaces. Check to make sure. But try this, fractions on a number line today, and we'll do some more work with that tomorrow and Friday. Good luck!